My sister scheduled her birthday on my wedding day. The whole family chose her party over me. I'm a 27-year-old woman, and my wedding was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I had spent months planning every detail with my fiancé: venue, flowers, music, guest list. Everything was ready. Everything was perfect. Until my sister, Claire, decided to ruin it. A month before the wedding, she announced she was throwing a huge birthday party. Not the weekend before, not the weekend after, the exact same day as my wedding. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I called her immediately, trying to laugh it off. "You must have mixed up the date," I said. But she didn't. She told me bluntly, "It's my 30th birthday. It's a milestone. I'm not moving it for anyone." I was stunned. "Claire, it's my wedding day. You've known the date for almost a year." She shrugged. "And my friends already booked everything. They can't change their plans either. People will just have to choose." Those words cut me deeper than she'll ever know. People will just have to choose. When the invitations went out, I held my breath, hoping my family would stand by me. But one by one, the RSVPs came in, and they weren't for my wedding. They were for Claire's birthday. My parents. My aunts and uncles. Even my cousins. Every single one of them chose to celebrate Claire turning 30 instead of me getting married. On the day I was supposed to walk down the aisle surrounded by family, I stood in the bridal suite clutching my bouquet, looking at rows of empty chairs. My side of the aisle was almost bare. His side was full. And when I looked at my husband-to-be, I saw the pity in his eyes. I had never felt more abandoned in my life. The morning of my wedding should have been filled with excitement, but all I felt was dread. My bridesmaids were bustling around, fixing their hair, sipping mimosas, trying to hype me up, but I could barely smile. Every time my phone buzzed with another "sorry, we won't make it" message, my stomach sank deeper. By 10 a.m. I already knew the truth: my family wasn't coming. Not my parents, not my siblings, not even my grandparents. Claire had won. I tried to focus on the positives. My fiancé's family was there, supportive and warm. His mother hugged me like her own daughter. His cousins joked with me, trying to lighten the mood. But when I peeked out at the ceremony space, my chest tightened. My side of the aisle looked almost empty. When the music started, I gripped my bouquet so tightly my knuckles turned white. My father was supposed to walk me down the aisle. Instead, I walked alone. Every step felt heavier than the last, the sound of whispers following me. I kept my eyes on my fiancé, on the man I loved, and told myself that was what mattered. And in a way, it was true. But the absence was deafening. Each empty chair was a reminder that my family had chosen cake and cocktails with Claire over witnessing me say "I do." During the reception, people tried to cheer me up. Friends gave speeches about love and loyalty. My new in-laws danced with me, filling in the gaps where my own family should have been. But when it came time for the father-daughter dance, the silence was unbearable. I stood in the middle of the floor, holding back tears, until my husband's father stepped in. He put his hand on my shoulder gently and said, "You shouldn't dance alone." I cried into his chest as we moved slowly across the floor. The humiliation didn't end there. Halfway through the night, I started seeing posts on social media from Claire's birthday party. Photos of my parents smiling beside her, balloons spelling out 30, tables full of food, people laughing, champagne glasses clinking. The captions made it worse: "Best party of the year. So glad I didn't miss this." Each photo was like a knife to the heart. While I was cutting my wedding cake, they were singing "Happy Birthday" to Claire. While I was saying vows that were supposed to mean forever, my parents were clapping for her speeches. I excused myself and locked myself in the bathroom for 20 minutes. My mascara ran down my cheeks as I tried to breathe. My best friend, my maid of honor, found me there. She knelt down beside me, grabbed my hand, and whispered, "You're not alone. Look at who's here. They love you. Don't let the ones who didn't show up destroy this moment." She was right, but the pain didn't vanish. It sat in my chest like a stone. When the night ended, and my new husband and I walked out under sparklers held by his family and my few loyal friends, I smiled for the photos. But inside, I knew something had changed forever. That night, lying in our hotel room, I scrolled through Claire's party photos again and again, tears blurring my vision. And I swore to myself, I would never forgive her. The honeymoon was supposed to be a time to forget, to start fresh, to focus on my husband and the new life we were building. We flew to Italy, and he did everything he could to distract me: sunsets, wine tastings, little handwritten notes slipped under my pillow. But no matter how beautiful the view was, the emptiness followed me. Because what haunted me wasn't just the absence on my wedding day, it was the choice. My family had chosen her. When we came back home, I decided to confront them. I couldn't just pretend nothing had happened. So I called my mother. She answered, her tone casual, almost cheerful. "Hi, sweetheart. How was the wedding? How was Italy?" Her words nearly made me choke. "You would know if you'd been there." Silence. A long, heavy silence. Then a sigh. "We talked about this. It was Claire's 30th. A once-in-a-lifetime milestone. You'll understand when you're her age." I gripped the phone so hard it hurt. Once-in-a-lifetime milestone? You're comparing her birthday to my wedding. To the only wedding I'll ever have. Her voice hardened. You'll have other celebrations. Anniversaries. Vow renewals. Claire only turns 30 once. I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. But it didn't end there. The next weekend, my father called. He tried the voice of reason approach. "Listen, your sister needed us. She doesn't have a husband to support her like you do. She's alone. You'll be fine, you have your husband's family. Claire only has us." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So you're saying because I found someone who loves me, I don't deserve your love anymore?" He went quiet. Then he muttered, "Don't twist my words," and hung up. The betrayal cut even deeper when I tried reaching out to my cousins. One of them texted me back bluntly, "It was just easier to go to Claire's. Weddings are long. Her party was fun." I stared at that text for a long time. Fun. That's what my family valued. Fun over loyalty. Fun over respect. Fun over me. And Claire? She basked in it. She posted photo albums online titled "Best Birthday Ever" with captions like, "So grateful for my amazing family who showed up for me." The passive-aggressive jab wasn't even subtle. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I showed up at her apartment. She opened the door with that smug smile, belly laughing at something on her phone before she saw me. "Well, look who it is. The bride." I pushed past her into the living room. "Why, Claire? Why did you do it? You knew the date for a year. You knew how much it meant to me." She crossed her arms, her eyes cold. "Because for once, I wanted the spotlight. You've had it all your life. Perfect grades, perfect fiancé, perfect little wedding. I wanted a day that was about me. And guess what? I got it." My heart stopped. "So you admit it? You sabotaged my wedding on purpose." She smirked. "Call it whatever you want. But the family came to my party. That should tell you something." I stared at her, shaking, my nails digging into my palms. "It tells me I don't have a family anymore." Her smile faltered, just slightly. But she didn't apologize. She didn't even blink. I left her apartment with tears streaming down my face, but a strange calm settled over me. For the first time I understood the truth: Claire hadn't stolen my family. She had revealed who they truly were. And once you see the truth that clearly, there's no going back. Walking out of Claire's apartment that day felt like walking out of my childhood. The girl who had grown up sharing secrets with her, trading clothes, whispering in the dark at sleepovers, she was gone. What was left was a woman who smirked at my pain and called it victory. I drove home in silence, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard they ached. My husband tried to comfort me when I walked in, but I felt hollow, like all my words had been used up. That night I made a decision: I couldn't keep reaching for people who had already let go of me. So I stopped calling. Stopped texting. Stopped scrolling through Claire's social media, torturing myself with pictures of her smiling with the very people who should have been at my side. But silence didn't stop the noise. My mother started leaving voicemails. At first they were gentle: "Honey, you need to let this go. It was just one day. We're still your family." Then sharper: "You're being dramatic. Do you want to throw away your whole family over this?" Then finally, guilt-ridden: "Claire didn't mean to hurt you. She just wanted her birthday to feel special. Can't you forgive her?" Each message cut deeper. Forgive her? For what? For deliberately scheduling her party on my wedding day? For bragging about how the family chose her? For mocking me to my face afterward? Then came my father. He sent me an email, long and self-righteous, saying I was selfish for trying to compete with my sister, that family isn't about keeping score, and that if I wanted to be treated like an adult, I needed to start acting like one. I nearly threw my laptop across the room. Compete? I hadn't asked for this war. Claire had drawn the battle lines. My husband watched me unravel night after night, sitting at the kitchen table with tears streaming down my face as I read their messages. Finally, he took my hands and said, "You don't have to fight for people who don't fight for you." His family proved that true. They had filled the empty seats at our wedding, held me when I cried, toasted me like I was their own. They didn't care about choosing sides. They cared about me. So I started leaning on them. Spending weekends with his parents, his siblings. Letting their warmth fill the space my family had abandoned. And for the first time since the wedding, I felt a flicker of peace. But Claire couldn't leave me alone. 2 months after the wedding, she showed up at my doorstep unannounced. She looked polished, smiling like she was about to deliver good news. "I think it's time we put this behind us," she said. "The family wants us to reconcile. It's silly to keep dragging this out." I stared at her in disbelief. Silly? Claire, you hijacked my wedding day. You made it a competition. You gloated when they chose you. She rolled her eyes. You're still stuck on that? God, you're so dramatic. Nobody even remembers anymore. People move on. Why can't you? Something inside me snapped. Because it was my wedding, Claire. My voice shook, louder than I'd ever spoken to her. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and you turned it into a referendum on loyalty. And you won. Congratulations. You got exactly what you wanted, everyone on your side. So why are you here now? Her smile faltered. For the first time, I saw something in her eyes that looked like fear, or maybe guilt. But she recovered quickly, folding her arms. Because I don't want to lose my sister over something this stupid. I shook my head slowly. You already lost me. I closed the door in her face. On the other side, I heard her gasp, then curse under her breath. She knocked again, harder, but I didn't answer. After a few minutes, her footsteps faded away. When I turned around, my husband was standing in the hallway. He pulled me into his arms and whispered, "You don't owe her anything." And I knew he was right. But I also knew one thing with painful clarity: this wasn't just about my sister anymore. This was about an entire family that had shown me where their loyalty really lay. And I was done begging for scraps of it. After that day at my doorstep, something in me changed permanently. It wasn't anger anymore, not even grief, it was clarity. Claire could spin it however she wanted, my parents could call me dramatic, my cousins could act like it was just easier to go to her party. None of it mattered anymore. They had shown me exactly where I stood in their lives, and I finally believed them. I didn't send another message. I didn't pick up when my mother called. I didn't read my father's long-winded emails filled with veiled guilt trips. The family group chat kept buzzing with photos of Sunday dinners at Claire's apartment, cake after cake, candles after candles. And every time I saw a notification pop up, I muted it. Until one day, I left the group altogether. At first, I expected someone to notice. To call me, to ask why I'd left. Nobody did. That silence told me more than words ever could. Meanwhile, my husband's family closed ranks around me. His mother began introducing me as my daughter instead of my daughter-in-law. His sister invited me out for coffee every week. His father insisted on hosting us for dinner every Sunday, filling the empty space with warmth and laughter. At first, it hurt, because it reminded me of what my own parents had chosen not to give me. But slowly, it started to heal something inside me. Then came the real test. Months later, I got a formal invitation in the mail. Claire was throwing herself a family celebration for her engagement. A glittery card with her smiling face and her fiancé's arm wrapped tightly around her waist. At the bottom, in neat cursive, it said, "Family means everything. Wouldn't be complete without you." I held the card in my hands for a long time. My stomach churned with anger, sadness, even a twinge of pity. Because Claire still thought she could rewrite the story. She wanted me to show up, to play the forgiving sister, to erase what she had done by smiling for photos at her next big moment. But here's the thing, I wasn't going to let her set the narrative anymore. I didn't RSVP. I didn't send congratulations. I didn't even acknowledge the card. I dropped it straight into the trash. And that weekend, while my entire family posed for pictures at her engagement party, I packed a bag and went away with my husband. We rented a small cabin by the lake, just the two of us, sitting by the fire, cooking simple meals, laughing until late at night. It was quiet, it was honest, and it was ours. When I checked my phone afterward, I saw the flood of photos from the engagement. My mother holding Claire's hand, my father giving a toast, my cousins all grinning. Claire looked radiant, smug, victorious. But I didn't feel the same stab of betrayal anymore. I felt nothing. That was the moment I realized I was free. Family is supposed to be a safe place. Mine wasn't. Family is supposed to celebrate your milestones. Mine abandoned mine. Family is supposed to stand with you when you take the biggest step of your life. Mine chose a birthday party instead. So I built a new family. One made of my husband, his people, and the friends who showed up for me when it mattered most. People who see me, respect me, and never ask me to shrink so someone else can shine. Do I miss them? Some days. I miss the idea of family more than the people themselves. I miss believing I belonged. But I can't miss people who chose to erase me. When people ask why my side of the wedding photos looks empty, I tell the truth, because they didn't show up. And I let that silence sit, heavy and uncomfortable, because it should be. My sister got her spotlight. My family gave her their loyalty. And I gave myself something better, my freedom from ever needing their approval again.
Follow me for more stories.